All right, so outside of the shop today, we have a Ford F350. This is a Superty Duty XL 6.2 gasoline motor, and we have a broken tensioner pulley. This is our truck right here, and let's see if I can get up here. Now the belt I had already taken off, and the problem with this was the belt was super tight that the starter could not even turn the motor over. Now your tensioner pulley we are at the center of the motor here. If you go just to the left and look down, I'll show you. Let's try to zoom in here. That is the whole assembly there. See that nut right there? There's one more on the top. There's one more off to the left. It's really tight. And that's the actual pulley right there, the black one. This is what the pulley looks like here. The one bolt you saw in the video was this one. There's one above it, and there's one down here. Now, these are going to be 10 millimeters, and you only have literally, let's say this is against the motor here. You only have, and your fan is going to be right about here. So you have very limited space to get a socket down in there. So you're going to want a small socket, a deep dish socket. You're not going to be able to get in there. You're going to hit the fan. Small 10 millimeter socket and a ratchet should be able to get you right down in there to turn these off. And I'm only showing you like this because it's really dark down there in the motor and you can't see. So those 10 millimeters I had soaked with PB Blaster already for the last 2 hours, and they cracked loose. Really easy. They are still in there, and I loosened them just for sake of speeding up the video. And I got this whole assembly from Napa. Part number was 39179. Alright, you can see it there, just in case you need to get one. And you're going to need a new serpentine belt, and this is the number for that, 061058. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take those 3 bolts out and pull that other pulley up. One thing I would recommend is getting a knee pad when you get up there, because there's literally no place to kneel down. You're going to want to put your knees on that. Alright, you see the gap here I was telling you about? You have very little room. So we're going to take this 10 millimeter. I already loosened those bolts up, but I'm just going to drive it down there and finish backing them out. Alright, so this is our old tensioner pulley. And once you loosen these up with your 10 millimeter, you're going to be able to get your hands down in there and just slowly turn and back these out by hand. You're not going to get it all the way out with the socket, but they get loose enough. It's just a little tight getting down in there. We're going to go ahead and then drop this one back down in there, and you're going to have to finger tighten these at first. Again, very tight quarters. Be careful not to drop it down on the ground. Now, rather than try to go straight down here, it's probably best if you come over to the side here, right in front of the battery, and you put it back in this way. You got a lot of room, and you'll be able to reach your other hand down there too and hold this with 2 hands. So I'm going to have to cut the camera while I maneuver this in there. So just a few quick pointers here. I know there wasn't really a whole lot to show in this video, but any tips I can give you that will help. Utilize this space here where the battery is, because again, you have limited space here. When you're putting that tensioner pulley back on, you're really going to need to lower your head down in this space to, and you probably can't see it from here. No, because it's buried in there. Well, you can see the nice shiny chrome. That's the new tensioner pulley. But what you're going to have to do is get your hand down in here and get the far left bolt in first with your fingers. And I'll show you with the other one on the bench. And essentially what I was saying was, when you put your head down in that battery, you're going to be able to see this hole only at first. So you're going to have to try to maneuver this around and line these 3 holes up underneath of there. Alright, this can only go on one way under there. So get those 3 holes lined up and put it on. And then when you stick your head down in there, you'll be able to see here. You're going to have to hold this with your other hand coming down the front. And you're going to bring your other hand in right in where that battery was, that little opening. You're going to slide your hand in from over here, and you're just going to thread this in just a couple of times, not too far, because you still need this to pivot, but just enough to where you can come up and relax your arm, and this ain't going to drop to the ground. Then what you're going to want to do is go to this one next. So you're going to come, take your head out of the battery compartment. You're going to now look down, and you're going to try to feel if this is lined up or not. And you're going to thread this one in, a couple of threads. Then that should be center on the block. You can go ahead and try to feel your way. This one you more or less likely cannot see. So you're going to have to feel around with that bolt until you get this in there. And then that's it. You're just going to take your 10 millimeter, slide it down in there after you get them tightened by hand. And you're only going to need to crank it a couple of times because you can pretty much get these in all the way with your hand. The job is actually really simple to do, but if you're somebody with really big hands or big forearms, it's going to be a little bit tough. If you have a helper, that always helps to get somebody to hold with one arm while you go in and take the nuts and bolts off, or you position the new one back in to, put it back on. But it's not that hard. From start to finish, if I wasn't filming this, it probably would have been a 10-minute job. So I'm sorry for the lack of detail. It's cloudy outside, it's raining, and you can't really see down in the motor with the limited space they give me. So hopefully any of my tips I gave you help you out. And if they did, hit subscribe below, guys. Give me a like, and I'll see you next time.